What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to The Drop, which is a weekly series I do right here on the YouTube channel where I go through the top video game releases of the week and let you guys know what new games are coming out just in case you do want to pick up something new on whatever platform you might be playing on. And this week we have a pretty big fighting title coming to the PlayStation 4 and the PC, and we have a pretty big, I guess, racing soccer title that was previously an exclusive on the PlayStation 4 and the PC coming to the Xbox One, and then we have a pretty big cult hit that is making its way in a remastered format to the PC. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first off, we have the Ship Remastered coming to Steam Early Access on PC, of course, and technically the Ship was originally released in 2004 as a mod for Half-Life 2, and then it was released in 2006 as a standalone title called the Ship Murder Party, and that's pretty much where it became really popular with the community. And pretty much the premise behind the game is that there is this giant cruise ship, and each player is a passenger on this cruise ship, and each player is trying to kill another player. So ultimately, whenever you're playing the Ship Murder Party, you're pretty much just playing this giant online game of Clue, where each player is trying to kill each other and no one knows who is trying to kill exactly who or how they're going to go about doing so. So within this remastered version, eventually Blazing Griffin is going to remake each and every map that was in the original game and kind of give a new coat of paint all the way across the board, but this is releasing as a Steam Early Access title, so there are only going to be 4 maps at launch. And then I have a quote from the Blazing Griffin blog post about the release of the Ship Remastered on the Steam Early Access category, and they said, "We have a legitimately early alpha game. There's lots of stuff still to be added, and bugs, oh the bugs, there's lots of bugs, sexy, funny, and terrifying bugs." With a statement like that, I'm not necessarily sure that I can guarantee you're going to like what you see if you do choose to pick up the Ship Remastered on the Steam Early Access section of Steam, but definitely this is a big step in the process of getting the game out of the public in a full and complete released format, so this is just kind of a stepping stone along the way. And I guarantee that if you were a fan of the Ship games back in the day and you kind of want to follow the development of the remastering, then you probably want to pick this one up, and it is coming out on the PC this week. So next up, we have Street Fighter V coming to the PlayStation 4 on the console side of things as an exclusive to the PlayStation 4, and then it's also coming out on the PC. And Street Fighter is one of those iconic fighting games, and the community that loves these kind of fighting games are really excited about Street Fighter V, and that's something that is pretty cool to see. But the story does take place between the events of Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 4, and supposedly this story is a little bit more in depth. I've heard rumors that the cutscenes in total are taking up an hour of content within the game, so that's a pretty significant amount of time, and this is a pretty good thing on 2 different levels, for me at least. That means that there is definitely going to be a deeper emotional connection between the player and the story that's going on in the game, whether that be, you know, emotional connection to a certain character or in general just emotionally involved in the story. It seems like this entry into the Street Fighter franchise is going to bring a little bit more to the table. But beside that, if they do choose to add some more content to the game other than just your standard stages and characters, then there could definitely be some story-based DLC if this story is complex enough to allot for such a kind of DLC. So that's kind of a reason why I'm excited for the story version of this game. However, if you are looking at Street Fighter V as a stereotypical fighting game, then there are 16 characters at launch, 4 of which are new to the franchise, and then throughout the course of 2016, there are going to be 6 more playable characters added through microtransactions, sort of. Okay, so there are 2 different kinds of currency within the game that you can use to pick up these new characters that are going to be added over the next couple of months. The first of which is called Zenny, which is purchased using real-world money. So pretty much you would do a $5 microtransaction, get some in-game currency, and you could then purchase the new characters that are released whenever they do hit the game store. So that is one way you can go about doing it, and that's your pretty much standard stereotypical version of a microtransaction. And then you have fight money, which is earned by simply playing the game. So pretty much you could just play the game for a couple of hours, earn some fight money, and then pick out one of your new characters, which I'm pretty happy with this setup because not only does it allow everyone to have access to all of the content, for those players that just want to have a particular set of fighting skills or play with a certain character, they can totally just chunk a couple of bucks at the game and get that character outright. However, if there are devoted players to the game and they want to kind of earn their way through the entire character rank and tiers, then they can definitely do that like it's a classic arcade fighting kind of game, and that's awesome that they're giving players that opportunity. Of what I've seen, this game does look pretty impressive aesthetically, I have to admit, and I know that a lot of people are excited for this, and even though I don't really get that into fighting games, I have to admit that Street Fighter V has gotten me excited to see where they take the game, especially with big championships like EVO, which is something that I always look forward to that's on Twitch. We'll probably talk about whenever it comes around, but I'm excited to see the kind of legs that Street Fighter V has, if it's going to have story-based DLC, where the characters are going to go. Ultimately, it's a pretty interesting entry into the Street Fighter franchise, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Now, last but not least, we have Rocket League, which is finally coming to the Xbox One, and this was actually my game of the year for 2015, and I'm getting ready to tell you why. So pretty much, if you aren't familiar with Rocket League, which at this point I'm not really sure why you wouldn't be, because it's pretty much an indie title that took the entire world by storm over the course of just under a year, but it's pretty much soccer with RC cars, and those RC cars are very customizable, and the people that are making the game have made console specific content, which we'll get into in a minute. But what really makes Rocket League shine is the physics engine, because it's just realistic enough. For instance, there are thrusters that are on the RC car, and if you're flying through the air and you activate that thruster, you can definitely tell a difference whenever you hit that ball by how far the ball goes, and then of course bouncing off the walls and whatnot. The physics feel very realistic, and that's part of the reason why I personally think that Rocket League has caught on and stuck for as long as it has. So with the Xbox One version of Rocket League, you're actually getting all of the DLC that has come out to date, all of the updates and whatnot, so that's already pretty awesome, but you are getting 2 exclusive body styles that are exclusive to the Xbox One version of the game. The first of which is a Halo Warthog, which of course is the famous iconic truck with a machine gun on it, for lack of a better term, from the Halo franchise, and that's my personal favorite of the 2. I think it goes great in the Rocket League universe. And then of course you have the Armadillo from Gears of War, which is another famous vehicle from the Xbox universe. So that's one thing I love about Psyonix. They made some exclusive vehicles for the PlayStation 4, and that was a big community hit over on that side of the game, and of course they had to bring something to the Xbox One, and although the game is coming out at a later date on the Xbox One, it's nice to hear that the guys over at Psyonix still put just as much effort in the Xbox One version of the game, and that kind of devotion is definitely what makes them stand above the rest of the developers that are making this kind of game in the long run, at least in my eyes. Now with the drop, I do recommend games pretty often, especially whenever I believe in what they stand for, and Rocket League is a game that doesn't come around very often. This is one of the ones that I have to say, the next time you get some money, if you haven't experienced Rocket League for yourself and you have an Xbox One, by all means, pick up this game and see what the sensation is all about, because for the entire course of, I would say, July, August, and September, all of Twitch was absorbed by Rocket League, and I still play it on at least a monthly basis, and that's after having it since last July. For someone that has a YouTube channel, for someone that has a Twitch channel, for someone that's playing a lot of new games, to go back to a game that is that old, that speaks for itself, and if you, like I just pick up Rocket League on the Xbox One if you haven't played it already. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below and comment what new games you're going to be picking up this week, if anything. Have you been looking forward to Rocket League on the Xbox One? Are you a huge fan of Street Fighter V, or are you just going to watch it in championships like EVO? Or did you play the original version of the Ship? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you are new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other content, I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week depending on the week, so there's always something new right here on the channel when you drop by to watch some videos. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.